Another thing which is very important, for the last few years there was a kind of negative geared market in Australia, but I know that you never believed in that. So you're always a big believer of positively geared property, and especially during this time, I presume there are more opportunities like that. So can you specify that what a truly positively geared property for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So firstly, I'd make a distinction is in when we say the market, a lot of people that live in Sydney think Sydney is the market somehow, but it's not. Sydney and Melbourne have the lowest rental yields in Australia, and so they are the cities that tend to be negative cash flow. Within the cities around the rest of Australia, you'll find it's actually quite easy to find truly positive cash flow properties. It's not difficult at all. Further to that, we're in an environment now where we have the lowest interest rates in Australian history. Everybody knows that. So you're typically having banks giving you money at 2 to 3.5% in that range. So I'm a big believer when someone's giving you money, take advantage of it. Use it to go and invest. Yeah, so a lot of the people in my network I know have bought many millions of dollars of property in the last several years, because when they look at the cost of their borrowing compared to the rental yield they're able to achieve, there's a clear gap, which is then becomes your positive cash flow.
That's fantastic. Everything what you're saying is linked to each other. So the second question will be like related to those people who buy only one property in their lifetime, because they buy negatively geared property, and after that they can borrow again money because banks won't give them. Okay, in your particular case, when people join your club, they have a chance to, before they actually start investing, they go through their finances, their opportunities, and you help them to buy a positively geared property and then second, then third and fourth, and etc., etc., etc. So they end up not owning one property, but multiple properties. Correct. Can you tell something about that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think cash flow is super important. People mainly, their concern or fear in this game is around debt. Now, don't get me wrong, debt is important. I would say though it's very much secondary to cash flow, because you could have many millions of dollars of debt, but if it's genuinely, truly positively cash flow, it pays for itself. It doesn't come from your pocket. So that really de-risks the whole situation, and people are generally a lot more comfortable with that situation. By doing that, it also takes the pressure off this property having to perform like right now, like times like right now during Corona. Okay, cool, the property might flatline, it might even go down a bit over a period of a few years, but are you particularly concerned? Shouldn't be, because in the long term, we know what the Australian market does decade by decade. It's a matter of historical fact. So in the long term, if you've got a positive cash flow portfolio, you're relatively patient. You're happy to sit on that because you know the long-term returns will be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you lose your main income, you're still not worried about it because property is generating cash enough to cover the debt.
Correct, exactly right.